study finds that it's possible to cut cropland use in half and produce the same amount of food, according to Reason on WND. If during the next 60 to 70 years, the world farmer reaches the average yield of today's U.S. corn grower, the 10 billion will need only half of today's cropland, while they eat today's Americans' calories. This is what was concluded by agronomist Paul Wagner in his seminal 1996 article, How Much Land Can 10 Billion People Spare for Nature? That's the title of it. In their 2013 article, Peak Farmland and the Prospect for Land Sparing, Wagner and Rockefeller University researchers Jesse Osubel and Ido Wernick, citing current global trends in yield increases and fertilizer deployment, calculated if biofuel production could be reined in, that as much as 400 million hectares or 1.5 million square miles of current cropland land could be returned to nature by 2060. That's about 25% of the land currently devoted to growing crops. And he said, now we're confident that we stand on the peak of cropland use, gazing at a wide expanse of land that will be spared for nature, they said. It's worth noting that according to Food and Agricultural Organization data, cropland has not yet topped out, but agricultural land, which includes pastures, peaked back in 2000. Now a new study in the journal Nature Sustainability by researchers Christian Fulberth and his colleagues at the International Institute for Applied Science Analysis in Austria reinforces the findings from these earlier reports. And in the article, they said the global cropland sparing potential of high-yield farming, the researchers calculate a scenario that closes current global yield gaps, bringing the crop yields of farmers in poorer countries up to those in richer countries. Achieving that goal, quote, would allow reduction of the cropland up to those in richer countries. Achieving that goal would allow reduction of the cropland area required to maintain present production volumes by nearly 50% of its current extent. That would mean that about 576 million hectares, or 2.2 million square miles, could be restored to nature. The researchers also sketch out an alternative high crop yield scenario that specifically aims to protect and expand the habitats of threatened species, and in that case, cropland use would still shrink by almost 40%. We have to keep in mind that these scenarios are conservatively reckoning what would happen to global land use, assuming that essentially all of the world's farmers adopt modern high-yield agriculture. They don't take into account technological improvements in farming over the coming decades. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.